today we pause to reflect on leadership. We started with talking about relationships, we talked about teamwork, then we moved on to attitude, and now today we are looking at leadership. And when we think about leadership, something that quickly comes to my mind is that all of us are leaders, regardless of where you are, regardless of what position you have, regardless of what title you hold in life. Each and everybody is a leader, and those are some of the things we are going to be looking at particularly today. So I like that quote from John Maxwell that says everything rises and falls on leadership. Now what John Maxwell is simply saying is that if your business is going to grow, if your family is going to do well, in other words, anything that you are involved in depends on your leadership skills. The success of anything that you will ever be involved in largely depends on leadership. If you see anything going well, there is a leader behind. If you see anything going wrong, there is a leader behind. That is what we would like to begin with, that everything rises and falls on leadership. Your business, your organization, your success depends on your leadership skills. Now, again, we are going to be realizing that anybody can become a leader. I'm sorry, the screen keeps freezing, but I will pick it up again. Anybody can become a leader. Yes. So we'd like to begin with something that I call the leadership lead. Now, what is the leadership lead? The leadership lead, or the law of the lead, simply says, I don't know why this keeps happening, but I'm sure it will clear up along the way. It will clear up, it will get better.
If it disturbs you, you share, then I can share. I can screen for you.
Okay. Okay, so there is what we call the leadership lead, and what that simply means is that your leadership ability is the lead that determines your level of effectiveness. Now, of course, what that simply means is that if your level of effectiveness, if your leadership level is low, which means that your level of effectiveness, and when we talk about effectiveness, we mean your ability to lead your team, your ability to grow your business, your ability to achieve your goals, your dreams, everything depends on your leadership lead. Now, one way to achieve greater results is to lift your leadership lead. Now, how do we lift our leadership lead? We have already said that leadership ability is the lead that determines a person's level of effectiveness. That simply means that a person's impact is only a fraction of what it could be with good leadership. In other words, if you have good leadership, your impact will be much. But if you don't have good leadership, you will be limited in how much you can accomplish with your business and with your team. And that has been one of my experiences as an individual, that the more I grow as a leader, the better my life gets, the better my business gets. So the higher you want to go, the greater the need for leadership. If you want to rise high in the hierarchy of the organization, if you want to become a top leader in the business, you have to improve or increase your leadership skills. So what you accomplish is limited by your ability to lead others. If you have a good ability to lead other people, then you will accomplish much. But if you don't have a good ability to lead others, you will be limited to what you can accomplish. Now the question is, how do we raise the lead, or how do we increase our leadership ability and capabilities? We can all get better at leadership. That's the good news, that all of us, you and I, can improve and become better leaders. So it doesn't mean that because you're not a good leader today, you can never be a good leader. No, we can all get better at leadership. And let's also remember that no one is born a leader. Everyone becomes a leader. Many people usually ask, are leaders made or they are born? Of course, all of us are born. You know, or I don't know of anybody who came into this world without being born. But of course, the whole point is that are some people more natural leaders? Some people might be, but the majority of us become leaders by doing certain things. So you are not a leader because of your title or your position. No, you're not a leader because of the position you hold. You are a leader because of certain things that you do. And those are the things we are going to look at right now. And there are three things that we are going to explore in detail, three things that all of us can do to improve or increase our leadership skills. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is to work on our character. Work on our character. And maybe even before I get into this, I would like to ask you a question, and I'm going to request that you type in the chat. Bruce, you're going to check for me what responses people are typing in the chat. Okay, so we want this to be engaging. So I would like to ask a question. Tell me one outstanding quality of a good leader that you know. So just type in the chat, and in the chat I would like you to type a quality of a good leader that you know. Maybe someone that you know. It could be a leader that you have read about, or a leader in the business, a leader in the country, a leader in your, you know, any leader that you have ever followed, or a leader that you know, one quality that made them outstanding. Type for me in the chat. We would like to hear what are some of the things you think make good leaders. So kindly type in the chat. I can see some chats coming in. Bruce, kindly help me to read for me the messages that people are reading.
Liz said honesty.
Okay, honesty, thank you.
Only one. A good leader must be kind.
Kind, okay.
Waiting for more. Any other suggestions? Humility.
Okay, humility, thank you.
Must be exemplary.
Exemplary, fantastic. Those are good, those are great responses.
Must be faithful.
Faithful.
That Mr. Hero Ronald has a posture, trustworthy and time manager.
Okay, trustworthy and time manager, even if we stop there for now. As I have had all of those responses, they tie in with some of the things that I've already planned to share ahead of us. And I want to believe that by us taking on some of these characters and attributes, I believe that we all have the ability to become good leaders. Because as we have said, it is possible for all of us to become good leaders. But at the same time, the better we become at leadership, the better whatever we are doing will also get better, because life gets better when you get better as a person. So when you improve on your leadership skills, you'll find that you also get better. And even as I talk about leadership, I'm reminded that a famous author called Robert Kiyosaki said there are 4 essential skills which all of us need to acquire, regardless of what qualification, regardless of what job, regardless of what title. The 4 things he talked about: one, he talked about public speaking, because we all have to be addressing people the way I am doing right now. The second thing he talked about is basic accounting. In other words, we need to know how much money we earn and where we spend it or where it goes. The third thing he talked about is leadership, okay? And then there is a 4th thing. When it comes to mind, I will share it with you. So there are 4 things which all of us need. We talked about public speaking, leadership, basic accounting. The 4th I will share with you later. So we are looking at character, at leadership, because leadership is among those things which all of us need to acquire. Regardless of what you're doing, all of us need to become better leaders. And we are also realizing that leadership is not about, it's not about position, it's not about title, it's about certain things that you do. And when you get better at doing those things, you can begin to improve. So we are going to begin with character. And that quote simply says that character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. You know, it's easy to do the right thing when you know that people are seeing you. It's easy to do the right thing when you know that the cameras are on you. But question is, if you know that nobody would ever know, what would you do? Because then that is your character. It is who you are when nobody is watching you. Those things you go to and you watch, and you don't want anybody to know what you watched. Now, that is your true character. It's not what we see. No, it is who you are when nobody ever sees you. The things you do, the things that you do when nobody is seeing you, that is your true character. So we are learning and realizing that character is a very essential component of a great leader. And when we think about character, some of the things that we need to appreciate is that character is what makes trust possible. You know, it's when you have a good character that people begin to trust you. Now, many times people say, you know, someone mentioned here that we need to be trustworthy. That is absolutely true. This is what we are talking about. Then also somebody mentioned that we need to be honest. That is exactly what character is. So character is what makes trust possible. Now, we need to understand that you don't just meet someone and then you trust him. No. Every interaction you have with someone either builds trust or removes the ability to build trust. Let me give an example. If we agree that we are going to meet tomorrow at midday, okay, you agree with me that tomorrow we are going to meet at midday, and then you're there by midday, but I don't come by midday, maybe I come in at about 20 minutes past midday. No apology, no advance communication. I just show up late and it's business as usual. Now, the next appointment we have, you might still, keep time, because maybe you're thinking, maybe he just didn't keep time for that day. If the second day I still come late, now the third time, most likely you'll know that this person is not someone who is time conscious. Now, automatically, I have made you believe that I am not time conscious. In the same way, what I'm laboring to explain here is that it is us who train people to either trust us or not to trust us. It is us who do that. If I give you money for products, and then those products are supposed to be delivered within a day, after today, there is no communication, you have not delivered any product, you have not sent me the kit, okay? I wait for tomorrow, no communication. Now, what do you think I'm thinking by Monday? Do you think I will still trust you with my money? Maybe not. Why? Because you have trained me not to trust you. So in the same way, we are the ones who train people to trust us or to mistrust us. Why? Because of our character. So character is what makes trust possible, and trust is the foundation of leadership. Without trust, there is no leadership. You cannot lead people who do not trust you. You cannot do business with people who do not trust you. You cannot interact with people who do not trust you. So we need to understand that without character, there is no leadership. So question for you is, do the people you're working with trust you? What have you done to build trust with your people? Or have you broken trust with people? You cannot lead people who do not trust you. We have already talked about that. So one way to build trust, a simple way to build character, simple, is to be a man or a woman of your word. Just try that out and tell me how it works. Be a man or a woman of your word. If we say, are you going to do this? If you know that you're not going to do it, it's better you say, this weekend or today I am really busy, I will not manage to do it. It's better you say you can't, as opposed to saying yes and then you don't. Because if you say yes, you have made a promise, and a promise is a debt. So it's better you commit to something which you know you can fulfill. So one way to build character, a very simple way to build character, is to just be a man or a woman of your word. If you tell people that you use the products, do you use the products? If you tell people that you're going to support them when they get into the business, do you support them? Be a man or a woman of your word. Fulfill your promises. Whenever you make a promise, fulfill it. It's better to promise less and deliver more than to promise more and deliver less, because then you'll not have fulfilled your promise. And when you do not do that, then you compromise your character. So the first thing that any good leader must do is to build character, because without character, you don't have trust. And without trust, you don't have leadership. So character is number one. The second thing, so character builds what we call credibility. Without character, you don't have credibility. You're not credible. You're not credible. You cannot tell people to do things that you're not doing. Why? Because now you are not a person of your word. Whatever you say, your word should become your bond. So be a person of character. Character, in fact, a simple way to define character is like a statue. I want you to think about a statue. Any statue that you know right now, if you're in Kampala or if you live in Uganda, there is a statue in there are different statues around the city, Now, when you think about that statue, do you think that the way that statue sits or the way that statue stands, whether it is 3 a.m. at night, that is the position of the statue. It does not change. Whether it is raining like nothing, like cats and dogs, the statue does not change its position. If we should be like those statues, we remain the same person. Come rain, come shine. Whether it is light or it is dark, we are the same people that we project ourselves to be when it is broad daylight. So be the person that you project yourself to be. Don't try to show an image to people that you know you are not. Look in the mirror, because that person, you can never lie to them. So don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to people. You might lie to some people sometime, but you will never lie to all the people all the time. Character is what makes leadership possible. So that's number one. The second thing about leadership is competence. Competence. What does competence mean? Competence simply means you are an expert at what you do. You cannot lead people in a business if you don't know how to do the business. You need to learn how to prospect. You need to learn how to present. You need to learn how to follow up. You need to learn how to do the basics that we call the basics in our business. So you need to be competent. If people are going to follow you, and by the way, there is no leadership without followers, because I think it is John Maxwell who says, he who thinks he leads but has no followers is just taking a walk. So all of us have got people that follow us, consciously or subconsciously. Of course, in our business, it is the people that we have introduced to the business. So you cannot lead those people if you are not doing your basics. If you are not bringing people into the business, how then do you lead people? How do you do it? If you're not sponsoring new people into the business, how do you lead people? How do you inspire people to do what you are not doing? You need to be a master. You need to be an expert at what you're doing. That simply means that you need to acquire knowledge and skills. You need to get knowledge. You need to acquire skills. You need to learn. Attending trainings like this, watching videos like Les Brown and Brian Tracy and John Maxwell, make an effort to acquire knowledge and skill so that you can become a master at what you're doing. And the other thing about competence is that practice makes improvement. The more you practice, the better you get. There's no question about it, that the more you do, the better you get. In fact, there is what they call the 10,000-hour rule. What the 10,000-hour rule says is that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. Now, 10,000 hours to become an expert. Now, I would like you to do the math. If you work for 8 hours a day, I want you to do it for me. Get out your calculators. You get 10,000 hours, okay? Divide them 8 hours a day. What do you get? Are we doing the calculation?
1250.
How many?
1250.
Say that again. 1,000?
250.
1,250. Okay, great. Now, let us assume you are working 6 days a week. So these are the days. So let us assume you're working 6 days a week. What do you get?
6 days a week.
Yes. So divide that number by 6.
208.
208. Okay. Are these 208 weeks? Yes. Okay, no. Yes, these are 208 weeks. Okay. Now, I would like you to divide these by, okay, these are 208 weeks. Okay. So how many years are these? Can you divide this by 52?
4.
4. Great. So it would take you about 4 years working 8 hours every day for 6 days to become an expert. Now, that simply means that you work all the time you work. Now, I'm not talking about saying I'm working when you are not working. You know, you're doing other things. Don't just count the time. Count the work that you do in the time. In other words, don't only count the hours, make the hours count. So if we say 8 hours, it simply means 8 hours. And for the kind of business that we do, the productive time, the most productive time, the prime time that we do is spending time with a client or with a prospect. That is what it means. Spending time with the new people or training your distributors. So if you spend 8 hours every day, 6 days a week for 4 years, you become an expert. And I believe if you do that, there is no limit to how far you can grow in the business. So be competent, because practice makes improvement, the 10,000 hour rule. So in other words, what I'm simply saying is be a model, because people follow your example. People do not follow your advice. People follow your example. People look at you. Someone mentioned that one of the qualities of a leader is being an exemplary person. This is exactly what it means. Be an example. People follow what you do. People do not hear what you tell them. People simply see what you do, and they will do exactly what they see you doing. That is what leaders do. Leaders are competent. Leaders practice. Leaders make improvement. Leaders acquire knowledge and skills, and they are experts and masters at what they do. So question for you is, are you an expert at what you're doing? Are you growing in your knowledge and skills? Do you make sufficient practice so that you can improve in the way you build your business? Are you getting better at meeting people? Are you getting better at prospecting? Are you getting better at presenting? Are you getting better at following up? Because if you do not do these things, how then will you help other people to do what you cannot do? Be an example. Be competent. You cannot tell people to do what you're not doing. Be the kind of leader that people would follow. In fact, I would like to ask you a question. Imagine you were following a leader, and that leader is you. Would you follow yourself if you were leading, if you were a follower? Imagine you are the leader. Imagine you are a follower. Would you follow yourself? Or in other words, would you want other people in your team, in your business, in your organization to be like you? Now, if the answer to that question is no, then you need to think again and become a person who practices what you are telling other people to do. Because one of the biggest challenges in our kind of business is that you find that you are telling people all the time. You know, you are talking to people, you are telling them what to do. It is possible that as you grow in the business, the more time you spend in the business, the less you do the things you're talking about. And that is a very big challenge for most people. So as we grow in the business, we need to continue to do the things that we tell other people to do. When we have just started the business, we are so excited. You know, we want to talk to everybody. Now, as you grow in the business, you tend to tell people what to do, and you are not doing it. You are now like a boss. No. In our business, we have to lead by example. We lead from the front. Competence is a key of great leadership. The third thing, we talked about three things. One, character. Two, competence. And now the third one is charisma. What is charisma? Charisma is your ability to connect with people. You know, the way you connect with people. Why is it important? Because leadership is about people. Leadership is not about methods, it's not about systems, no, that's management. There's a difference between leadership and management. We lead people, but we manage things and manage systems. That's why they call it money management, because you cannot lead money. You manage money, because money is not a person, money is a thing. Okay? Managing money, conflict management, you know, all those are management. Human resource management, you manage processes, systems, methods. Those ones you manage. But when it comes to people, you lead people. So leadership is about people. People are relational beings. Let's remember that you are a leader. Therefore, you have people that are following you. Those people are individuals. Those people are human beings. Those people are relational beings. So we need to improve on our ability to relate with other people. We spent a lot of time talking about relationships in the last training. I would refer you to that so that you can get more information about how to become better at building relationships. But we need to remember that people are relational beings. And because we are relational beings, people will not go along with you if they cannot get along with you. If you're not the kind of person that people can get along with, I promise you, you will bring people into the business, but after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they will drop out. Why? Because they cannot get along with you. You know, a research was done and they wanted to know what motivates most people. They thought money would come on top of the list, but it was not money. They realized that money is not the primary motivating factor. People are motivated by recognition. People want to be made to feel special. So you need to be the kind of person that makes people feel special. Do people get well along with you? You need to improve in our area of relating with other people. Another thing we need to appreciate is that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So we need to care for the people that are in our businesses. We need to care for the people in our lives because people are relational beings. So that is what we call charisma. Your ability to connect with the people that you know. Because a time comes when people would rather go, but sometimes they will stick around with us. Why? Because of our ability to connect with them. You know, the business now becomes like a family because people would rather go, but because of the relationships that you have built, they would rather stay. It is called charisma. I'm reminded of this man who had a business organization that he was building, and then, you know, during a tough season like what COVID has caused, the business went down. A time came when he could no longer afford to pay salaries. So what he did, he invited these people into the boardroom and told them, my dear staff, as you know, we are not doing well, and you know, because of the things we have been going through, I'm unable to continue to pay your full salaries. So I would like to give you leeway. I want to give you permission that if any of you feels that you should go to another place to work there, please do, because I can no longer afford to pay you. And the staff said, no, we are not going to leave you. Why? Because ever since we became part of this organization, we have become like family. You know, you have been there for us in the good times and in the bad times. You have stood with us. When we had celebrations, you were there with us. When we lost our dear ones, you stood with us during those moments of, you know, those difficult moments. And now, because your business is going down, we shall not leave you. We shall stick with you. Even if we take half salary, we shall take half salary, but we shall not leave you. And none of those employees left. Why? Because of his ability to connect and care with those people. And that is how they stuck with him, built through the tough time until the business finally came out of the deep and began to do well again, because of charisma, because of relationships. So one thing about leaders is that they have to build relationships. They have to build connection with other people. If you build people, people will build your business. There's no question about it, that when you build people, people will build your business. So as a leader, become better at dealing with other people. Connect with people in order for you to lead them effectively. So we've looked at character. Number 2, we've looked at competence. Number 3, we have looked at charisma. Those are 3 things that define leaders. There are other things, but those are the most important things, which if you do and continue to do, your business will grow. Your life will get better. Your personal life, even you, your family, connect with your family members. You know, connect with them at a special level, because you are a leader in your home. You are a leader in your business. You are a leader in your association. If you build character and build competence and then build charisma, your ability to connect and lead other people well, there is no limit to how far you can go. But again, we need to understand that leadership is about the heart. Why? There's this statement that I like, that the heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. Think about it. The heart of the matter, when it comes to leadership, it's about the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter in leadership is the matter of the heart. It is the state of the heart. And there are certain things that leaders can do. How do we lead from the heart? You know, what are some of the things leaders do to lead from the heart? There are 5 things that leaders do to lead from the heart. The first thing is they think others first. What does it mean to think others first? We need to stay humble, otherwise you will stumble. You know, think of other people first. Don't put yourself first. Already as a leader, you are in the first place. You are the lead. You are in the lead. You are the leader. So stay humble. You know, put others first. Seek first to understand other people, and then they will understand you. You know, always try to put other people first. Think about your team. How can you put other people first priority? Seek first to understand them. Don't tell people, you people, you're not understanding me. No, you first understand them. They will inevitably understand you. So put other people first. In the way you carry yourself, be humble. In the way you express yourself, first understand them before you expect them to understand you. And there is a book that says leaders eat last. In other words, leaders let other people first eat. Now, of course, it doesn't mean only food, but even other things, you know. So think about, how do you put your people first, other than putting yourself first, because you are a leader. And you see, there is a lady who was called Margaret Thatcher. She said something very interesting. She said, being a leader is like being a lady. If you have to say that you are, then maybe you're not. Because you don't have to tell anybody that I'm a leader. No, they already know you. They already know that you're the leader. So you don't have to tell them. Just put them first. So remember, leaders eat last, and serve others. Leadership is about service. So when you're thinking others first, think of them and think about, how can you serve other people? How can you serve the people on your team? How can you serve the people that you're leading? Because leaders think others first. That's the first place to think from the heart. To lead from the heart, we have to put other people first. So givers gain. So be the kind of leader that gives. You know, don't hold on to things. You know, give. Be generous. You know, if you find a resourceful thing, give it. Talk about a book that you have read and how it has impacted you. Refer them and recommend them to attend a training that you think will be helpful. You know, give them your time, give them your attention. Be generous. You know, give. Why? Because givers gain. Leaders think others first. The second thing leaders do to lead from the heart is they expect the best from the people they lead. They expect the best. What does it mean? Be optimistic. You know, you cannot be a leader who is always telling people, I don't know what is going to happen. No, you cannot be negative. You have to be optimistic. You have to have positive expectations. You have to give them positive, you have to give people hope. It was Napoleon Bonaparte who said, leaders are dealers in hope. You know, so you have to give people hope. You cannot be a leader who sucks people's energy. You have to be optimistic. People rise up to your level of expectation. You know, people will rise up to your level of expectation. If you tell people, give me your best, they will give you their best. If you expect people to rise to a certain level, that is how far they will go. So expect the best from your people and tell them, I expect you to give me your best. Leaders expect the best from others. Why? Because attitude is everything. We talked about attitude a few weeks ago. So attitude is everything. Why? Because attitude determines your altitude. How you think determines how high you rise. So as a leader, have a positive attitude and expect the best from your people. Give your people hope. Be optimistic. During times like this, when a few people have lost jobs, you need to be the one encouraging people. When things are not happening, the leader needs to be the one who is giving people hope. Give them inspiration. Tell them you can make it. Okay? And then the third thing that leaders do is that they respond with courage. Leaders respond with courage. When they are leading from the heart, leaders respond with courage. And what are some of the things leaders do to respond with courage? You know, we need courage to face our fears. You know, you cannot be a leader and you're scared of talking to people. You cannot be a leader and you're scared of doing certain things. Why? Because people are watching you. You have to take action. Get the courage to do the things that you fear most. Because if you fear it, then what will the people you're leading do? You know, you need to be the one at the front. Demonstrate courage as a leader. We need courage to face our fears. The second thing we need to do is we need to stand up for our values. Sometimes it takes courage. If people are all telling lies, you need courage to say, no, for me, I will not tell a lie. I will stand for the truth. Sometimes it takes courage to do that. You know, so you need to stand up for your values. Stand up for your values. It takes courage. Stand up for your values. If you see something going wrong, stand up for your values and speak out. But we also need courage to believe the impossible. Because there are things which people think we cannot achieve. These ones we cannot accomplish. These ones we cannot, these ones we cannot get. But you need courage to believe that we can do it. You know, sometimes I enjoy watching some of these soccer games, you know, and you find a team is going to face another one and they have called it Mission Impossible. But the captain stands before his players and says, it is possible. We can accomplish this thing. Why? Because the leader has to respond with courage. You cannot be a leader who is filled with fear. No, you have to face your fears and do the things that you're scared of doing. We also need to make the changes that are necessary. During a time like what we have been going through, you find that we have had to adapt to changes. You know, you cannot be a leader that is scared of change. You have to be the first to make a change. Now meetings are online. Have you learned how to run your meetings online? Are you running your meetings on Zoom? Can you make presentations online? Can you know, adapt to changes? Sometimes people are scared of this technology. People are scared of adopting new things, but you have to be a leader that takes the lead and lead with courage. So make the changes that are necessary. But also the other thing is this, and this is very important, that if you have someone on your team that is doing something wrong, someone is cheating people, someone is doing things to people that you do not like, maybe they are lying to them, you know, maybe they are bringing bad behavior into the team, you need to the courage to pull that person aside and tell them, excuse me, what you're doing is not right. You need the courage to do that, because if you don't, they say one rotten apple will spoil the whole basket. So you need the courage to tell someone who is doing something wrong and say, excuse me, what you're doing is not right. Of course, you have to be empathetic. You have to speak with wisdom, but you cannot keep quiet when things are going wrong. You can't. They say all it takes for evil to prosper is good people to do nothing. You have to stand up and defend your values. You have to stand up and call out people. Say, no, you're not doing your best. You are not putting in enough time. You're not putting in enough effort. You're not doing what it takes to do it, to achieve your dreams. You need the courage to speak out. You cannot see things going wrong and you keep quiet. You have to get up, speak up, and stand out. So leaders respond with courage. And then, when it comes to leading with the heart, number 4, leaders accept responsibility. There is no two ways about it. Let me tell you something. As a leader, you cannot point the blame. You cannot point a finger. You know, it is said in the office of in the White House, in the office of the President of the United States, one of the most powerful positions on the planet, there is a writing on the wall that says, this is where the buck stops. This is where the buck stops. In other words, every decision that is for the well-being of this country and sometimes the world at large depends on the decision you take while you're in this office. That's what it means. So you have to accept responsibility for your actions. You have to take responsibility for your actions. You know, as a leader, take responsibility. If your business is not doing well, don't blame the economy. Don't blame your upline. Don't blame other people. Don't blame the company. Don't blame the technology. Don't blame the weather. Blame yourself. Accept responsibility. That's what it means. A leader who does not accept responsibility is not a leader. You have to take ownership for your mistakes. If there are things you have done, you need to own up in front of your team. Say, I was wrong. I am sorry. I made the wrong decision. Take responsibility. Take ownership for your mistakes, and then be accountable for your results. Because the results that you get in the business are not by mistake. Results don't lie. They say figures don't lie. All you need to do is look at your results, look at your business, look at your printout, look at your figures, you know, look at your business and take responsibility. Don't blame anybody. Take responsibility. Okay, the leader is in charge. As a leader, you are the one in control. You are the driver. You are in charge. So take responsibility. Leadership is about responsibility. If a leader blames anybody, then that leader is not a leader. And number 5, one thing about leaders, they hunger for wisdom. They hunger for wisdom. What does that mean? Be a lifelong learner. Don't reach a place where you feel, I know it all. What are you going to teach me? Someone has just started the business and they are saying, I would like to share with this. No, what are you going to show me? No, as a leader, be a lifelong learner. I have a mentor in South Africa who is about 80 years old, almost 80 years old. But whenever he comes to Uganda, he is such a good student. He sits down and listens, even from someone that has recently started the business. Imagine, he has been in network marketing for over 40 years, but he still learns from a new distributor. Be a lifelong learner. Be a lifelong learner. Leaders are readers. Leaders are readers. You cannot afford to live your life without gaining new information every day. As a leader, you need to be a reader. You also need to remember that if you are green, you grow. But if you're ripe, you will rot. So we need to stay green. Green simply means we keep on learning, even if it is that same thing. I don't know how many times you have attended a training on leadership, but it is one of those common things. I'm glad that there are 43 of us here. So don't reach a place where you hear that, what are they going to tell us? Leadership, how many times have we listened to talks on leadership? No, go and listen, because it might be a new thing, or you might experience an old thing in a new way. So learn, be open to learning, be a lifelong learner, attend seminars, read books, listen to audios, watch videos like what we have been watching, Les Brown and Brian Tracy and many other very good speakers. Learn from other people. Be a lifelong learner. Last weekend, I was listening to a lady who is leading the biggest bank in Uganda. And this lady said, one thing that has defined her life is that she is such a good learner. She is such a good learner. She keeps asking questions. She keeps asking. Even if the person is far below her, she will sit down, listen, and learn from them. Be a lifelong learner. That's what it means to read from the heart. So the H means hunger for wisdom. The E, expect the best. The A, accept responsibility. And the R, respond with courage. And then T, think others first. And you notice that when you put those words together, what word do you come up with? Heart. So that is what it means to lead from the heart. So leaders hunger for wisdom. Leaders expect the best. Leaders accept responsibility. Leaders respond with courage. And of course, leaders think others first. Remember the three things we started with: character, competence, and charisma. And now a few final thoughts. Remember that the first person you lead is yourself. As that gentleman says, the hardest person you will ever have to lead is you. You know that you're the hardest person to lead. You can tell other people to do other things, but for you, you might struggle to do them. So the first person that you lead many times is yourself. So you have to lead yourself well. It's called self-leadership. So lead yourself. The second thing we need to remember is that leadership is a process. Leadership is a process, because leadership develops daily, not in a day. So it is the things that we do on a daily basis. It is not like you wake up one day and boom, you are a leader. No, it is the things that you do today. You build character today. You do something small today. You build a house brick by brick. That is how you build leadership. You don't wake up one day and you have a house. Brick by brick, block by block. That's how you build a house. And that is how you build leadership. And the third thought is that leadership is earned. Leadership is earned, because true leadership is not awarded, it is not appointed, it is not assigned. It only comes from influence. You must influence your people. So you earn leadership. You might have a position, but you're not necessarily a leader. Just because you are the one on top of other people does not mean that you're their leader. No. You might be their upline, you might be something else, but you're not their leader. You are their leader when you do the things that leaders do, which is character, charisma, and competence, which is leading from the heart. When you do those things, now people will give you their leadership. They will give you permission to lead them, because leadership is not assigned, it is not awarded, it is not appointed. It is earned, and it only comes from influence. And the fourth and the final thought is that leadership is about empowering others, because success is not success without a successor. So our business gives you the opportunity to equip and empower other people, so that even if you're not there, your business can still move on. And for me, that is one of the biggest things about the kind of business that we do. Our business is a model of a business which can outlive you. I shared with you an experience that the person who introduced me to the business of network marketing passed away 12 years ago. But you see, he did not die with the business. When he passed away, the business carried on. Why? Because he had empowered people like me and a few other people. And to this day, the business enterprise that he left behind is still operating, and it still generates an income at the end of every month. Why? Because he had the ability to empower me and other people. So success is not success without a successor. Leadership is about empowering other people, equip them, enable them, empower them, give them the skills, the knowledge, the techniques, so that tomorrow they can stand on their own. Someone is not calling you, how do you do this? Why? Because you have enabled them to stand on their own. That is the biggest hallmarks of leadership. Your ability to empower other people is what makes leadership a lifelong endeavor. So that is what leadership is all about. I would now like to ask you a few things. And just before that, remember we have been talking about becoming a real success. We began by talking about relationships. We had a whole segment discussing relationships. You can go to some of our past editions on the YouTube and also on Facebook and find that recording on relationships. Then we talked about equipping, which is empowering people through teamwork. We talked about that. And then we also spoke about attitude, how leaders should live positive-minded. And now today we have wrapped it up with talking about leadership. That is how you become a real success. So before I finish, I would like to again pose a few questions for you, and please type in the chat, what has been your major highlight from this session on leadership? What are some of the things you can take away from this discussion we have had on leadership? Please type in the chat. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. I just want to hear what has stood out for you. But I also would like to know, what are you going to do about it? Because that is the most important thing. The most important thing is not what I say. The most important thing is what you take away. Remember that in all the sessions we have had, all the trainings that you attend, the most important thing is not what the speaker said. No. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what you personally took away and say, this is what I'm going to do. And when I do this, I believe my life will get better, because nothing changes until you change. And I'd like to pause it at that. And remember, connect with me on social media, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I will always be delighted to connect with you whenever I share videos, whenever I post something. I want to believe that it will inspire you and empower you to become a better version of yourself.